Hello, welcome to episode 38 of the Blindsided podcast. It's good to be here tonight. Today, we're gonna talk about questions, asking the right questions, because
Yeah.
we all have lots of experience asking the wrong questions that keep us stuck and don't allow us to move from where we want to go, from where we are to where we want to go. So we're gonna talk tonight and today about the right questions. My name is Charlie Collins, co-host of the Blindsided podcast, and soon Blindsided Productions website, and all my services will be out there to start sharing.
That's exciting, Charlie. I can't wait for that to go live. Hi, everybody. My name is Brenda Hayden. I am the founder of Time for a 10. We're an emotional awareness coaching service. We help people inventory their disturbances to get at the exact nature of their reactions and why they're disturbed. And we kind of reprogram their 0 to 7 programs. We reprogram their experiences that they had at 0 to 7, their interpretation of them. Charlie's going to edit out anything that doesn't work in here, right, Charlie?
Never.
Never.
Only my mistakes. You know that.
Anyway, that's what we do. We get at the exact nature of their disturbances, and by clearing those away, they have more freedom and they learn to respond instead of reacting. It's a beautiful process. I'm so excited to be here tonight.
And that's a great question. Why did I just react to that event, that experience in my life, that person,
Yes.
that clerk, that something? That's a great question that I had never asked for most of my life. Why did I just react in that situation? That's not where I was going to go right away, but it's like, gosh, that's a good one. How come I am feeling tense in this line? What is it I want that I think should happen, that I will feel better about this event, situation, experience I'm going through right now? And I realized, Brenda, that also triggered when I made a mistake. It also triggered, what is wrong with me? And how come I always screw this up? Why am I so stupid? And I would trigger all these, and all those types of questions are selfish. They're only about me. And they're dishonest. They're full of fear. They have all these layers to them. So I started, I did not realize that until I did a bunch of work, but it's like, instead of what's wrong with me, what's right with me? Now, when I'm asking that, right? When I'm asking what's wrong with me, because I used to think in my head too with people, what's wrong with you? But I could easily list that. What's wrong with you to me? And somebody once said, do people in this crowd ever ask these types of questions? Like, well, yeah, I all the time. That's what I go to. I thought if I found out what's wrong, then I could fix it. But that was never the case.
It's never the case. And you're asking the wrong question, because the question that I hear you asking, and I did the same thing before I did the work, is what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? And how am I supposed to answer that question with any kind of accuracy or certainty? I don't know them. I don't know what's going on in their life, in their mind. I don't know what their past experiences are like. I know nothing about them, but I'm going to make a judgment on what's wrong with them. I'm going to make that list. I'm going to take their inventory so that I feel better about my reaction to what's going on. Because really, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to explain my own reaction, which I know is not a healthy one, right? It's an overreaction. That I'm reacting at all is an issue, right? Whether it's the clerk or the weather or, any kind of circumstance. I know that I'm reacting to something. I'm upset about something. And instead of looking within myself, I want to blame somebody, right? It's you did it. It's your fault. It's the way you looked at me. It's whatever I come up with. Instead of going inward and looking at myself. So it doesn't even make any sense to do that. But it's like a well-traveled hiking trail. It's just where I've been taught to go. It's comfortable. I know how to navigate that. Blame, judgment, criticism. Yeah.
So But a lot of the times I was asking the wrong question of myself. I was alone. There were no people around. It was just me making mistakes, and I was never okay with that. Or me not figuring something out, or me, grabbing the wrong screwdriver. God, you are so stupid. Why do you always do these types of things? It's like, hello, it's no big deal. So I wasn't looking at the core of these questions, this process. So it's like, what am I doing to create this suffering in my life? Now that isn't out of the gate question, but I've gotten to that where I say, what is it about my day that isn't bringing me fulfillment? What is it about the work I'm doing now that I'm not finding passion in? What is it about? How come it seems today I'd never get the things I want done? I do other things, I started really, Brenda, it was really cool. And not beating myself up. Hey, this is all loving kindness work. I'm going to do this to try to get to the higher self within, because that's where I found when I have all the wisdom and things I need is for my best path. And when I started asking the right questions, how can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. How can I do that? How can I? Will you please guide me? Show me. How can I come from my higher self today? How can I have an important phone call? How can I deliver the information, make it so we both have a winning phone call and everybody walks away, not what's in it for me. How can I? Why is this guy so stupid? How come he doesn't understand what I'm doing is right? And it's like, it's shifted. And I needed to get to the why. What is the core? Where am I coming from? What do I value? What are my values in life? And why are they important to me? And I remember, and then somebody asked me, okay, you value fun. Why is that important to you? I like to have fun. Why do you like to have fun? Why? Because it juices me. It releases dopamine and I feel more connected spiritually. And why do you like to feel more connected spiritually? And I'm like, why don't you just shut up? But that was the greatest exercise, peeling back the onion to get to the core self.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of work that we do. And it's transformative, life-changing work. And it has to start somewhere. There comes a point in time where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. You get sick and tired of being the victim. When I was in that mode of I'm a victim and everything was happening to me, and the line in the store was all about me, and I came at the wrong time again, and the world was against me, all that kind of thinking. And then the self, beating myself up. When I really started peeling that onion back, when I did the work and I started doing the work, I had to have a coach walk me through it, because a conditioned mind can't fix a conditioned mind. We've talked about that a gazillion times. It started with, I was hearing, like, in my family of origin, there was a lot of abuse. And that's what I was hearing in my brain all the time. I was hearing somebody else's voice. The critical voice that wasn't my own. It came from somewhere else. It's in my 0 to 7 programming. Every time I made a mistake or things didn't go my way, it was my fault. There was a problem. There was self-loathing. Like, for example, this morning it was snowing. It was great. I got up really early. I had to go to class all day. And the snow was stuck to the window. I couldn't find the scraper, right? And so I said, I'll just roll the windows down and the snow will come off. And I knew when I did that, there was a chance the snow could have come in the car, right? But I said, so what? It comes in the car. No big deal. I couldn't find the scraper and I had to catch a train. So I didn't have time to mess around. So I let it happen. And of course, snow all came in the car. And now I'm wet and I'm gross. And you know what I did? I laughed. I laughed about it. It was not a big deal. But to go back 7 years, had that happened and I started my day out like that, I'm an idiot. I can't believe I did that. Why does this always happen to me? And that's not my voice. You knew this was going to happen and you did it. And that's not me, right? That's an old tape that's playing. So understanding, like you're saying, ask the question, a simple question there. Whose voice is that? you pause and just ask that one question to get the process of peeling the onion started. Right. And I did that kind of work where whenever that critical voice came up, I stopped, and I was taught this by a coach. I stopped and I asked two questions. How old am I feeling in this moment? This is what I was told to do. And I'd write it down, 5, 10, right? And whose voice is that? Who do you know from your past that would speak to you that way? And I was always able to identify somebody. And that's where I began. Like, and we talked about this actually today in emotional intelligence. You have to go to and challenge the reality, the story that you're telling yourself about yourself. The story you're telling yourself about yourself. The story you tell yourself about yourself, you are going to project that out onto everybody you meet. So you're going to tell that same story, that same critical voice that you are using to attack yourself. You're going to attack everybody else with that same critical voice. and you're right. And that's why you have to stop and ask the questions.
Yeah, and I remember when I started realizing, like, why am I blaming? I would ask, and I'd say, well, I mean, I could come up with, okay, why am I complaining? Why did I just make an excuse about that? And I asked, and I said, and the answer didn't pop right away, but then all of a sudden, I got an idea and said, is it because you don't want to take 100% responsibility for what you said or an action you took that didn't work out the way you wished it did, or you didn't follow through and you just don't want to own that? You would rather blame that your dog, ran and you had to go catch him and I'm sorry I was late. And it doesn't feel good, but if you're doing it all the time, I shouldn't say you, if I am that guy that's doing that all the time, people catch on to that stuff. Like, dude, you have no integrity. So I started saying, and why is it that I'm not looking to take responsibility? And that means to follow through, to show up, to do what I said, and put the onus back onto me. And then I said, and what would it take for me to start practicing that? And like you said, I wrote stuff down. And I said, what would it take for me? Well, nothing. It would take me to stay awake. What I found out, why am I asleep most of the day, even though I'm awake? like how is it that I didn't just realize I'm doing something that isn't aligned with my why, it's something that isn't moving me towards the goals or the relationship or something. It's just me doing busy work to keep my mind busy. And it's like, gosh, these questions, and it's amazing. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought to ask myself, why are you blaming now? And then it went to, why in this moment do you want to blame and point a finger? And it's like, so I was in it, doing it. And then I started right before I wanted to go do it. I asked, why do you want to do that right now? How is that going to solve or help your integrity or make this relationship better? And it's like, ouch. Okay. This is the reason. I overspoke on our last call. I said yes, because maybe there was some fear. I didn't want to say no, but I said, or I wasn't thinking it through, because anything I say yes to, there's a no to something else, because there's only this amount of time. So I now know how to say no. But Brenda, you think about it, and I was getting myself caught up. Oh yeah, I can do that. Sure, I'd love to help. But I didn't stop to think about it. And it got me in trouble. So then I used to have to make an excuse and it just doesn't feel good. So how can I repair this if I got to make an amends? But I do that. But really, how do I not get myself into that anymore? It's like, think things through. Why is it I don't think things through? Because I have a racing brain still. I need to work on slowing it down. And then I got to say, okay, you would like me to help you with this on Saturday. Okay, well, I do have an hour. Or, oh, sure, I can get to that. Ah, crap, I forgot I'm helping this guy. Then I'm angry at myself. And then I'm mad at him. Why can't he figure it out? I mean, I don't play that game, and it just twists me up. And I'm not blaming. It's nobody's fault for my suffering or my success. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's my responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Your happiness is your responsibility. Your feelings are your responsibility. I'll never forget. And when I work with clients and tell them tell them this, most of them resist initially, and then over a period of time, it starts to make sense. You're not responsible for anyone else's feelings. You're not responsible for anyone else's feelings, and they're not responsible for yours. No one can make you feel anything. He made me feel this. She made me feel. That's not true. They can expose something you already believe to be true about yourself. That's why you're reacting to it. They can't make you feel anything. You get to choose what you're going to feel and when you're going to feel it, right? So you and I both know that. We've done the work around that. And when we choose to feel a certain way, react in a certain way, blaming, judging, criticizing, it means something inside of us is responding to that. Some unhealed wound, some old experience, some belief about ourselves is being tapped. Knocked, knock, knock, knock. Hello. Somebody, something is knocking at that door of that old experience. And when you recognize that, like you're saying, by asking the question, you can stop that whole process. And you can have some discernment about how you're going to respond to the knock at that door. Because you get to choose. You get to choose. There's something else I wanted to say. Now I forgot. So I'll pass it to you. It'll come back in.
What is it that Brenda is forgetting in this moment?
I forgot.
Okay, well, that's a good answer for now. That's the truth. So I want to know why. Sometimes, why am I going to do this? And why am I eating this? That's a big one. That one, when I started going through the whole nutrition thing, it's like, what is it in this packaged food is serving me? Dang it. Is it aligned with my body and nutrition and giving me positive, good energy as it goes into my system? What is it about this product that works for me? And it's like, I started waking up to, I am eating, sleeping. I'm just hungry and I eat whatever's fast. Everything in my life. Why is it everything has to be done so fast? Brenda, one day I'm after it, toweling, and I'm like, like I'm a martial arts in there. And I got the system down, and I'm out in the bedroom. I'm like, what the heck? There's no fire. It just hit me. Slow down. That was hard. What are you running away from, or what are you in a rush to? No, and I didn't have an answer. It's just my most practiced way of living. I had a very big racing mind that was always speedy. So when it hit a wall and it couldn't figure something out, so many answers came. That's where I was asking, what is wrong with you? Why are you so stupid? Why can't you figure this out on your own? You don't need help. And I realized that mind that was seeking to put me somewhere because where I wasn't comfortable. It was always a little bit restless, always a little bit discontented and irritable. And I'm like, my racing mind tried to solve that through next, more. And then I just started questioning the hell out of myself. And that's where true freedom started coming, is questioning my thoughts, questioning my emotions, questioning my behavior, not yours, mine.
Yeah. Focusing on yourself. It all begins and ends with you. I love that, Charlie. I really do. A lot of it is, I think, for me anyway, I'll speak for myself. A lot of it was just habitual. I was just used to doing it. I do the same thing that you were talking about, Charlie. Like I have this routine, right? Somebody mentioned this to me recently. I have this routine when I get up in the morning. I do these certain things, and I kind of fly through the routine, except when I stop to journal and do my little Kundalini meditation. Then I slow down, and for that span of 10 or 15 minutes, I'm slow, and then I'm right back racing, right? And there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to race like that. And I do the same thing. And it's old monkey mind stuff. It's just a habit. And when you ask the questions and you stop and you ask yourself, well, like, and I've done that too. Like, what are you rushing for? What are you rushing for? It's about once something comes into your awareness, like rushing out of the shower. Now that's in your awareness. So you're going to pay attention to it. And that's how this whole process begins, is you bring it into your awareness, and then you can start paying attention to it. And then you can start the action, which is pausing and asking the questions. Why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing it? Or with the thoughts, is it even true what I'm thinking? Like this, do you ever have like an intrusive thought, Charlie? And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll let that intrusive thought kind of, it's like a snowball, right? If you let it start to roll, it's really big, really fast. Right? And so sometimes I'll let it start to roll a little bit. And then I'm like, wait, whoa, right? Like, this is not going anywhere good. And what I say to myself is this for your highest good? Right? And the other thing I tell myself, which really works, is, if you go down to that low frequency, a bunch of low frequency stuff is going to start attaching to you. Why don't you raise it up a few notches and let that go? Because I don't like going down there where all that other junk can attach to me, because that's what happens when I let myself go down into that frequency of blaming, judging, complaining, attaching meaning to things that don't have meaning, being selfish, not being of service, me, right? Then I start attracting all that crap into my life. Then I'm guaranteed to be in the long line. I'm guaranteed to be in a traffic jam. I'm guaranteed to have snow falling through the window into my lap. I'm setting it up that way.
Yeah.
So when you do what you're suggesting, which works, which is to stop and pause and ask the question, why am I even thinking this? Where is this getting me? Is it even true? This thought even true? What does it matter? I just thought about someone I haven't seen in like over 2 years, haven't seen this person's face, pops into my head like, no, out. Sorry, busy. See ya. Like, that's all it takes. Done. Right? Not for my highest good. Not a high frequency vibration. I like to think of it that way, because I want to be up here where I'm appreciating the trees and sunrises and birds and a pink cloud, and that it's raining. It snowed this morning. It was fantastic to see. It's like, I want to live in my heart. I don't want to live in the chaos of my past experiences, my conditioned thinking, my 0 to 7 programming. I don't want to live up here. And it's really not a good place. I want to live here in the present moment, appreciating every breath that I take. Every breath.
Yeah, and then gratitude seeps out, and I can take a walk with the dog. And prior to with my past dog, I started saying, like, oh my gosh, my left foot, just not my right foot. Oh, look at that. They're so smart. They know how to take me places. And I'd say, oh, look at that wonderful lawn. And oh, those kids, I can hear them playing over there. What a blessing to be able to hear this. And my dog is in heaven right now. He loves to sniff, walk, and turn around and check on me. You're still with me, Dad? It's like, I just felt connected. I was in no rush. I was listening to a book, of course. And then there's times let me just hear, because I make it so the headphones can hear around me too. And I have those open ear things. But I still have that. I wouldn't want to waste time. But I started practicing conscious walking. So make sure you stand. Hey, Charlie, roll your shoulders back. Feel connected. Let your heels hit the ground and start feeling one with. Because you've always felt disconnected, discontented. That spiritual malady. I was always away from it, seeking outside of me and questioning, why is it so difficult? Why is life so hard for me? And the asking the right questions pulled me out and started putting me in to the truth, asking, why is it I am so blessed to go on a walk today with my dog?
Exactly.
It's shifted over the years. It didn't happen overnight, but I started with, why am I thinking this way? Why do I want to blame Brenda for taking so long? You know what I mean? Whatever that is, it has nothing to do with you. Like you said, you, or not you, person, event, experience ignited something in me that I haven't resolved. Something in me I don't love about me. Something in me, like if I saw some guy in a line and he was impatient, I'd say, "Look at this jerk." I love when he's acting the way I want to act, but he's showing it. At least I internalize it, you idiot. Let me teach you how to be mad without people knowing. And well, of course, they could tell. So I would realize I am furious at the way this man treated that lady. I would never do that until tomorrow.
Right.
And then I realized, who am I? Poor guy. What's going on in his life that's causing him to struggle, to act out in this moment? I'll never know, but I can relate. And I'm not going to judge it.
Yeah. And one of the things, Charlie, and this is a new discovery for me, we did a somatics, really intense somatics. They crammed a whole semester of information into 2 weekends. Yeah, it was really fun. It was intensive, but one of the things that we learned was that your body will tell you before your brain can process the information, right? So you'll know your body's an antenna, and it picks up sensations, it picks up energy, it picks up information that is so valuable. And when you learn how to read your body, you can actually stop yourself from going to the next level, which is the blaming, the complaining, the getting upset with someone for being slow, the triggering. You can stop the trigger from actually happening. And you can still hold space for going in and figuring out why you were triggered, right? You don't have to actually experience the full weight of the trigger to be able to go in and figure out what was triggered, right? So there's 2 parts to this. So when you start paying attention to your body, if you notice, because we're talking about asking questions, not just asking questions about your spiritual and mental state, but asking questions about your physical state. What did I feel in that moment right before I got agitated, and where did I feel it, right? And like for me, you were pointing to your chest, right? You know where you feel it because you've been feeling it for how long? Me too. I know where I feel it too. And for me, it's in my solar plexus, And so once I feel that, the second I feel that, I start tapping on my thymus. Your thymus is the seat of your soul here. You can tap right here. And it immediately grounds you. You do that for 30 seconds. It immediately takes you out of your amygdala and grounds you into your energy field, right? Because we know we have an energy field that goes out about 8 feet. You can see it with the right equipment now. So I ground myself. So now I'm not in an activated state. And then I can start asking the questions like, what's really going on here? It's amazing how this works. There's some other grounding exercise. We've talked about the nostril breathing and all kinds of stuff. But you get yourself grounded and you ask the question because you felt it in your body. It's a really nice early warning system. I wish I knew about it like 5 to 10 years ago. I could have skipped a lot of drama in that, in the last 5 to 10 years. But I know it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I keep going back to, you just said, it's like, we refer to Byron Katie's questions a lot, and it's all free. She puts it out there, but is it true? Is what true? This thought I'm having about something, is it serving me? Is this thought moving me towards my goals? And if I don't have goals, is this moving me towards more peace and happiness throughout my day? That's, it's okay, whatever it might be, but is it? Ask that. And why am I choosing to think this way? I choose to think yes. You think, then you decide, but you make a decision to take a behavior, and that behavior leads us into an experience. That experience leads us into an emotion, and emotion leads us back into the next thought. But if you stop between all stimulus and response, there's a space. But in my life, there was stimulus react for a long time. And if I did open that up, I put alcohol and other things in it. I couldn't seem to. But what I have found out, my higher self is in there. That spiritual power, the God of my understanding, a higher power, whatever, the universe, whatever that is. But between stimulus and response, I started opening that up through questions and tapping into the source that already was a part of who I was. And another thing that really helped with that, Brenda, was constructively reviewing my day at nighttime. How was it today? Did I think of myself most of the time? Did I think about others? These are just questions, or what I could pack into the stream of life. Was I bringing kind and loving thoughts to the table, to serving others? Was I only thinking of myself? Was I getting angry throughout the day? Did I have some fear crop up that I didn't question? Because fear is the best thing to question. Why am I afraid right now? I know the answers now.
Yeah. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Charlie, I remembered what flew out of my mind early. I don't remember how long ago it was now. 10 minutes ago, whatever it was. It flew back in. What's the number one reason why people do not want to even stop and ask the question?
Fear.
Yeah, fear. And why can't people sit with a feeling?
Well, because they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, they can't stand to be uncomfortable. We cannot stand. We can't stand to be uncomfortable. Like, it's like sit and practice being uncomfortable. You don't like something? Awesome. Sit with it. You're having a bad day? Awesome. Like sit on the couch or wherever you're comfortable and sit in the feeling. Just sit with it. And that's another practice. When you learn to sit with the uncomfortable feelings, whether it's sadness, grief, anger, disappointment, fear, a bad mood, not being able to figure out why you're feeling this way, which a lot of people get really frustrated with. Just sit with the feeling. Sit with it. Be curious about it. Ask it what it's there to teach you. What are you here for? What can I learn from this? It's all there to teach you something. And it's amazing when you kind of surrender to whatever it is, whatever the discomfort is. You stop fighting it. You stop trying to figure it out, right? I'm talking about getting yourself in a position to ask the questions, and you just sit with it and just allow it to express and embrace whatever it is that's coming out. If it's anger, let it come out. If it's sadness, let it come out. Just embrace it, express it, and then you'll start to feel better. It passes like a cloud. It's all the resistance and the fighting and wanting it to be different and wanting to know why, because if we know why, then maybe I won't feel this way and I can fix it. Like all that stuff you could just skip over all that drama and sit with it. And it sounds like it's hard, but it's not. Or maybe in my mind, when somebody told me this, I was like, that's like really hard. I'm not doing that. And then I tried it, right? And it's really not that bad. It's way better. My fear was telling me it was way worse than it was. And now it's like, great, let's do it. Let's sit with it, and it passes like a cloud. And then you can ask the questions like, so what was that really about? There's a deeper meaning. What was really going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ask, what is it I've done to create this emotion in my life? Because I can't assign it to anything outside of me. I can, but that then doesn't allow me to move forward or recognize this stuff. And it could be a whole host of things. And some of it is just the way it is. And that's okay. But I like to know, why is it right now I'm feeling this way?
Yeah.
And because you are. Oh. But it's usually, it was the wrong thing I ate. I didn't exercise. I maybe wasn't kind. I didn't sleep. There's reasons, because I get it. I don't believe 24/7 happy, joyous, and free is the way the human condition is going to be. Because, Brenda, my roller coaster, I was high, and that could be on joy, bliss, pleasure. I was up, and then I was down, and then I was up. And then I was down. And doing this work has lowered the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
much more level. And it certainly would never be a ride I would go on an amusement park. It's like that real whippy when the kids go on. It barely does any, yay, they're all screaming and ringing the bell. But that's what my mind's starting to come to. I don't believe it'll ever go just where it's supposed to be. And I believe because it dips a little up and down, it helps me grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I had another thought and it just flew away. It's 2 tonight. Oh, I know what it was. It came back.
To me, because I was about to talk, but go for it.
Yeah, so and there isn't always a reason. We talk a lot about, this deep stuff and, 0 to 7 programming and trauma and all this. Sometimes you're just in a bad mood. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. I remember saying that. I remember going through something really painful. And I was out walking with 2 girlfriends, right? And we're walking on the beach. And I burst into tears. I burst into tears. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to cry today. Like, didn't attach any meaning to it. I knew where it was coming from. And it was just time for me to cry. And I did. And I cried. And then I moved on with my day. It just, sometimes it just is nothing but being a human being, having a human experience.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, before we bring this to a close, you're coming around, you're checking this out. You're going to Time for 10. You're going to hit the link in my description on the YouTube channel and jump into the Blindsided community for future things coming. Hopefully you're going to like and subscribe. And why would I like this video? Because I received value out of it and I liked it. And I like Brenda and Charlie. Why would I share this with someone? Same answer. And I ask those questions, Brenda, if I'm going to share a video with people, because I'm very cautious on the people I recommend or the businesses I would ever share with somebody or a type of video. And then I realized because I had an experiential forward positive movement. I have a good relationship with this person shows up as honest, shows integrity. I don't mind putting that out there to people. So I asked those questions, but I started in the very beginning. Why is it I want to get angry over this? Why do I want to blame in this? Why am I complaining? Why did I just complain? Why did I just blame? Instead of what is wrong with you? I stopped you're so stupid. Why do you always screw up? I said, that's enough of that. And if they came on, you talked about, I visualized a magic carpet and I would put the bad thoughts in, whoop, they're gone. I sent them all to the people I didn't like. No, I'm only kidding. And, and then it started as I released those. I started finding out. I went from how bad am I and how much I suck and how much other people around me to, what is it why did I just complain? And then I got the answer. It was crazy. It's like you complained because you weren't willing to be honest. You weren't willing to say, hi, there's something I would like you to change in your life that would help work with me as we're working together. Because when we complain about something to anyone but that person, it makes no sense.
Big red flag.
I started waking up to, it's because I'm afraid to share that my needs are just as important as your needs. Yeah. And I would prefer if you would do it this way. Is that something we could work on? And most of the time it's the person I'm doing it with is somebody I love, I care about, and you work things out. So start slow, but start questioning your thoughts, question your behaviors, question the food you eat, and just take time, do it, document it, and watch as transformation starts to happen.
Yep. Because where attention goes, energy flows, Charlie.
That's a good one.
I know. Someone named, who was it? It's a friend of Jack Canfield's. Oh, yeah, Charlie Collins told me that one.
I don't know where I heard it. But let me tell you, I just want to also just close out with the Byron Katie. Is it true? But then, who would I be without that thought? And I started asking that, who'd I be without the thought? Oh, that would be really cool. And how do I react? What happens when I believe that thought? That I'm this, I'm that, this person should, and all that. And then I question, who would I be? And how do I react? What happens when I believe that thought? Then I get the answer. Then I say, do I want to be that person? No, I don't. What can I do moving forward? And I get the answers. Now, I had a coach. I went through a process to release that in me. And it doesn't mean I don't still need help. The stuff I get blocked, I can't see, and I am a blame thrower, and I am not able to take responsibility because I'm too blocked. So time for a 10.
Time for a 10. Pick up the phone. Pain shared is pain lessened. Yep. This has been a great podcast, Charlie.
Certainly has. I'm glad it came together. We were able to do it. And we are excited to be with you next week. And so go ahead and do what you got to do, but question your thoughts.
Question them.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Let's see, did it work?